Campers, it's me, Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees. From Friday the 13th, I'm here with AJ, and he's got the juiciest slice ready for you. It's dripping with blood. Jason never dies.
What makes a horror film kill memorable, terrific, even in some way profound or poignant? Let's explore. Thanks for checking this out. If anything about it trips your fancy, please like, subscribe, and share.
Oh, yes.
Without further ado,
Police are still searching for escaped murderer Russ Thorn. Thorn was convicted of the brutal slaying of 5 people in Venice, California in 1969.
seems a maniac is about. On the run and likely feeling frisky, eager, and murderous. But life can't wait when you're a high school boy looking to lock down some tale that's a little more mature.
This is the real thing. I think I'm in love.
The lady has a nice that is to say she has nice assets, as in a handy-dandy tool belt.
Give me 5 minutes.
Apparently, the high school boy thinks he has a shot.
Hi. My name's Jeff. Can I help you with that?
Mary's friendly and agrees to his help.
Sure, thanks.
Someone willing to haul a ladder is someone willing to haul a ladder, after all.
You know, I've been having some ringing in my ear. In my phone.
The guy is a bit of a scamp and keeps up the game.
And I thought maybe a phone woman could help me. Are all phone women this pretty?
I wouldn't know.
How bothersome, if flattering, it must be for attractive women to constantly get hit on, even at work, by horny boys.
Would you ever consider dating a younger man? I mean, you know what they say about younger men. Try it, you'll like it.
I hadn't really thought about it.
Maybe begrudgingly leaning into the gratifying aspect of getting pursued, since what can she do? She's gracious about it, giving him the brush off as gently, kindly, and politely as possible, likely to avoid a negative response. Best to keep relations with the public cordial. Leave it to his friend to administer a comprehensive burn and drag him away before he makes even a bigger fool of himself.
Well, my number's out of order. Your number is 0.
Mary's friendly about it, in no way salting any wounds. No sooner than they're walking away, the deadly eel strikes from the burrow it's hijacked. And like an unwary little fish, Mary is ensnared and yanked into the predator's new den to feed its insatiable hunger. And as the high school boys strut away, oblivious to the violence happening at their rear, Mary is the recipient of Russ Thorn's voracious wrath. And for her troubles gets a lesson in the finer points of the drill. The escaped mass murderer now has a mobile killing station.
Jeff, got one small detail. You weren't invited.
Trish.
Out of which to further stalk his next victims.
I don't let little details like that get in my way.
Hey, you guys, I forgot something. I'll catch up with you later.
She won't catch up with them later. Deep insight into his deranged view of women, a stance that will eventually lead to his drill bit getting snapped clean off. Poor Mary wound up discarded in a dumpster like so much refuse.
The party tonight.
What a provision. You know, Doritos, No-Dos, Benny's, crystal meth.
Some exits are extraordinary because they are a masterclass in some aspect of filmmaking. In this case, the brilliant use of misdirection. By presenting a horrific act happening right under the unsuspecting noses of nearby potential witnesses, Mary's exit comes as a total shock, because it seems to arise out of nowhere while still remaining organic and true to the reality of the world the story inhabits. Mere seconds before, she was engaged in conversation with the young man, only to be suddenly and without hesitation culled with impunity, set upon by a savage man with a vendetta against women, as witnessed by his desire to drill those of the female persuasion, and dies viciously because he wants her van, which is where a crime of opportunity meets a thrill kill, and its brutal excess. This one made such a historical impression it was refashioned for Scream 2. And I believe it a badge of honor that its mechanics were employed to take out Randy, a much beloved character from that franchise. Even expanding on it by having it take place in a more populated area, and how that could logically work. A shocking opening kill of a random attractive woman for sake of exploiting her resources and feeding his frenzied headspace introduces the unscrupulous and callous nature of the killer in no uncertain terms, and shows he's a terrifying guy despite not looking all that scary, since he exists more in the realistic slasher killer realm, and isn't a hulking physical presence with untold strength.
I don't have time for these shenanigans.
Setting the stage is very important in a horror film, and part and parcel of that is establishing the depth and wideness of the villain's threat, utility, and mystique that Russ Thorn was willing to strike in broad daylight, in a bustling thoroughfare, showed he was a scourge not hampered, hindered, or in any way slowed down by the typical reservations that prevent the majority from snapping and running amok. As demonstrated by his choice of killing implement, his id was in control, but also cold rationality. That he knew the opportune time to launch his attack to avoid detection demonstrates that despite his sexual neurosis and mental maladies, he was crafty and devious, able to calculate and plan, and proved adept until his eventual undoing and emasculation. Nothing oblique about that. That he's not some physically colossal brute, some lurking other more in line with the monsters of old than a human being, hiding his face and possibly freakish deformities behind a mask, but just another guy who can slip anonymously into the crowd, makes Russ Thorn particularly frightening. Like his East Coast counterpart Reno Miller.
Hey, what you got in your hand, mister? A drill! Hey, what are you, a fix-it man?
The Driller Killer. Each had an inviting guise that hid their roiling hostility. The best facade is that of normalcy. Leatherface, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Madman Mars, and Matt Cordell, the maniac cop, would all stick out like a sore thumb, while Russ Thorn could be behind you in line at the grocery store, pumping gas near your flank at the local Quick Trip, or seated beside you in the dark at the movie theater, and you'd never bat an eye because he's just some guy. Some guy who happens to drill people to death whenever he can, particularly nubile young women. In a very brief time, Mary was established as a kind professional person, and it's easy to assume she was undeserving of her fate, punished by a madman for no good reason. Maybe another of those inadvertent weird lessons that spring up in these flicks. Had she humored the young man's whims, events might have played out entirely differently, but she did the right thing and dismissed his shameless attempts to woo her, only to wind up dead. Well, I've about reached the end of the rope, so I won't leave you dangling. Thanks for hearing out my prattle. Please share any refutations, opinions, accusations, japes, or other ideas in the comments below. And please join me for whatever I'm up to next time. Bye now.
Bye, creepy man! Keep it creepy!
He's a weird guy.
Okay, bye, Linda.